Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. I got a lot of comments on both my community post and my video of the tier list that me and chat made, basically saying, hey, your tier list is wrong. There's a lot of things wrong with this. Why is there so low? Why are there so many things wrong with your tier list? You're a stupid idiot and you should never make a tier list again. I mean, not all of them were that harsh, but yeah, that was the general sentiment. A lot of people had a lot of opinions, very strong opinions about my tier list. Even some, actual other content creators and stuff reacted to it, and they also agreed that some stuff was wrong. I mean, a lot of people did say that, hey, it's fine for the most part, I would shift stuff around. That was kind of the general sentiment, but there were also a lot of people who were like, no, this is horrible. So today, what I thought I would do is I would go off on my own without the help of chat this time, and I would make the single best tier list that anyone has ever seen in their life for Paladins. This is going to be the tier list to end all tier lists. I mean, there's going to be nothing wrong with this tier list whatsoever. So, let's go ahead and start just placing these people on the tier list, shall we? So, yeah, let's see Androxus. Androxus is, he's a very interesting flank because his mobility, he's only got 3 different dashes, and then once he uses those, he is out of dashes, and you can't really do much else with those, and his weapon, I mean, it's a pistol. Why would you bring a pistol to a battlefield when you've got rifles and stuff? So, I mean, he does have a gun at least, so I'm going to put him in the bad but still playable category because, I don't know, there's just so many way better options than Androxus. I mean, when's the last time you've seen a good Androxus player, you know? I mean, those guys, they're hard to come by. Ashe, she's very interesting. She is a tank in Paladins Champions of the Realm who kind of just knocks people back, and knocking people back is strong until you get onto a map where there's no ledge to knock people off of. Because as you all know, knockback is only ever good when you can knock someone off the edge. If there's no edge, then you can't really get any value out of the knockback. So, for that reason, I mean, considering that, most of the maps in the game she's not very good on, I'm going to put her, we'll put her with Androxus too. I don't want Androxus to feel lonely, so we're just going to shove her there. Now, Atlas. Atlas is the main character of Paladins. He's the guy who's coming back in time to warn everybody about Yagharoth, and then he's going to lead the charge to kill Yagharoth, and Yagharoth is the big threat. So because he is the main character of Paladins, he's got to have some strong plot armor. And as we all know, if someone has plot armor, they're practically invincible. So there's no killing Atlas. And he can rewind himself back in time. He could rewind us back to the days of OB64 if he wanted to. That's how powerful he is. So I'm going to put him in S tier. He's just a really good character. He's the main character. So, you know what? He deserves S tier, 100%. Now, Barrack, he's a dwarf. So we're going to put him in D for Dwarf. I think that's good enough reasoning. I mean, have you ever seen a good Barrack player? I haven't seen a good Barrack player. I mean, he's so small. Khan can just pick him up and he can throw him, really far. And, there's so many reasons why you wouldn't want to play Barrack. I mean, he has a head. He has a head the size of freaking Long Island. He's just no. There's not really that much good about Barrack. I mean, his turrets only do 120 damage a shot or something like that. That's pathetic. Come on, dude, Barrack. You can build a better turret than that. So we're gonna put him in D. Bomb King. He is. Let's see, this is my tier list. So obviously, I have to be very unbiased, and I can't put my mains in somewhere where, people would say, oh, obviously you're really biased. So we're going to put him in S tier because I think he's a really good champion, who doesn't have any counters at all. He definitely, is really strong against snipers. There's no contest. Bomb King is just the best character at long range, and he just has no counters. There's no way to beat Bomb King. And I definitely, for the sake of not being biased, I'm going to put him in S tier. Even though personally I would say he's C tier, D tier, because I don't like Bomb King at all. We're gonna put him here. Anyways, Buck. So Buck, he jumps on people. He's got a shotgun, which is pretty cool. But because he has a shotgun, it makes him one of the worst snipers in the game. So because of that, I mean, this game is all about sniping, especially considering how big some of the maps are, like Onslaught Primal Court. That's a really big map. You really want some good snipers on this map, and Buck just fails there miserably. So we're going to put him in the bad, but still playable, because he does have a shotgun. In fact, no, you know what? We'll put him in B tier. Because you know what? He has a shotgun that's better than Androxus. Androxus is out here with the freaking pistol. What a loser, am I right? Cassie. What an idiot, man. Cassie is one of the stupidest champions in the game, because why would you ever bring a crossbow to a battlefield where there's guns and bombs and rifles and pistols and just... What an idiot. I mean, she's in the same tier as Barrack. You know what? Let's just put all the redheads in freaking D. Screw them. Who likes redheads anyways? What a loser. Cassie, she's ugly. Yeah, get out of here, loser. Okay, Corvus. You know, he's actually a pretty solid pick. You know, put him in there. Okay, Dredge. Well, Dredge, he's a pirate. He shoots explosives, and what's really powerful about him is that he can use his broadside, which is just, it summons like 3 little orbs that fly up into the sky, and then they do 900 damage a pop. And if you stand inside those and you get hit by all 3 of those, that's like 2,700 damage. And it's really hard to avoid them. I mean, to avoid those broadsides, you have to have some seriously good skill. I mean, you have to be absolutely crazy with your game sense, with your positioning. It's really hard to avoid that. So we're going to put him in A. He's a really solid pick in general. I mean, you know, it's just so hard to counter him. Now, Drogos. Drogos has the power of flight. He's literally fly hacking. So we obviously have to put him here. I mean, he is so strong. He's so incredibly strong because he can fly. Who else can fly? Absolutely nobody. At least not the way he can, where he can just hover up in the sky and shoot from above. I mean, how are you going to counter that? There's no way to counter that. So he goes up there. Evie, she only has 1,800 health. Lowest health pool in the game, so D, just bad. I mean, that's an easy pick. Nando, he has a flamethrower, but the flamethrower deals 450 damage a second, roughly. What kind of flamethrower is that? If I am going to bring a flamethrower into the battlefield, I want that sucker to do, like, at least 1,000 damage a second. And have, you know, I mean, I guess the range is fair enough for a flamethrower, but, like, come on, dude, I want a flamethrower to feel like a flamethrower. Fernando's flamethrower doesn't feel like a flamethrower, so we're putting him in C. Until Hi-Res decides to buff his flamethrower to 1,000 heals per second, he's always going to be a C-tier champion because his flamethrower sucks. And that's the only thing about Fernando. There's no other reason you'd pick him other than the flamethrower, and his flamethrower sucks. So there's that. Let's see, Furia. Let's see, she has a sword, but you see, the thing about Furia that's so incredibly smart is that her sword is actually a shotgun. It's the most ingenious thing ever. I mean, you just run at people, they go like, what a stupid idiot. This chick actually brought a sword, and I'm standing here with my rifle? What a loser. And then she gets close enough range, and kablow, you're dead. So, I mean, she's really smart. That's a really good play, so I'm going to put her in A. Grok. Grok, he has lightning, which is cool, I guess. Not really sure what to say about him other than, I mean, he can channel lightning. He has totems, so that's pretty cool. He can, you know what? He can fly too, actually, with his ult. Well, that's an S tier then. I mean, what else can I say? Grover. He's a tree who figured out how to walk. You know what? That's pretty smart. But, like, his healing, it could be way better, especially his ult. Like, his ult, I mean, it's not the best it could be. And also, I don't really see why you'd pick him for, like, anything other than healing. Like, I mean, he throws an axe, which, I mean, props to him for throwing an axe that far, but, like, why would you throw an axe when you could just take, like, an AK-47 or something to the fight? Like, be more like Victor, Grover. I'm gonna put him in, you know what, I'll put him in... Well, actually, no. Wait, he is a tree, isn't he? So doesn't Fernando kind of counter Grover then? Because he can just light him on fire. I'm going to put him in 2B. He's good, but he gets hard countered by Fernando because that just makes sense. Okay, Imani. Oh, she's got a dragon. She's S tier, obviously. I mean, there's no countering a dragon. Inara, she's a rock. She's Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but if Dwayne The Rock Johnson was a female. So that's pretty strong, I guess. But, like... I don't really know. She has no mobility, which is a huge downside. I mean, any good character is going to have some form of mobility, and Inara has no mobility whatsoever. I mean, it'd be nice if there was some sort of way for her to, like, fly up into the sky, and then, like, slam down on people, but, like, she can't, she doesn't even have that. Like, she doesn't really have anything. And, you know, without mobility, obviously you can't really evade things, so she's really just a very squishy target. So I think I'm going to put her... I think I'm going to put her here. Yeah, but do we put her B though? I don't know, because she is Dwayne Johnson but female, and that's kind of cool. I like Dwayne Johnson but female. We're gonna put Dwayne Johnson here. Let's see, Io. Oh my gosh, she's a freaking cat girl. Let's put her up here. Yes. Also good. Genos. Well, this guy is a god who has a heal that's 180 heals per second, and he has a rifle that does less damage than most of the other rifles in the game. And what kind of a pathetic god is Genos, man? He just sucks. Let's put him in D tier. Why would anyone ever pick this champion? I mean, I don't know. Like, what value does he even add to the team? Like, I don't know. Tell me in the comments, like, what does Genos even do? Like, he did what value? He doesn't have any value. He doesn't do anything for his team at all whatsoever. Okay, Khan. Well, Khan is a simp. Khan is a freaking simp. He simps for Leon. And you know what we say to Khan? Freaking no, simp, you're a simp, you're in D, you're just bad. Why would you ever be a simp? That's just bad. Come on, bro. Kinessa, okay, she's a sniper. Now you see, this is why Kinessa is so much better than Buck, and why Kinessa obviously will never ever struggle against Buck ever. It's because she can snipe and Buck can't. So again, you go to Primal Court, obviously Kinessa is just the best. You go to any map in the game that's really big, like TDM Throne, that's a map that comes up a lot that people play on. She just dominates there, so I'm gonna put her in we'll put her well, she's a sniper, so obviously she's got to go up here. Let's see, Koga. He's a ninja, but he's really loud. But you see, that's actually quite an ingenious tactic, because no one will ever expect a ninja to be loud. So someone hears, you know, Koga's giant footsteps coming their way. They think, oh my gosh, wait, it's oh, there's gonna be a demon coming here. There's a freaking Rom coming my way, because what else would be so loud? So then they start to run away, and then Koga just scares them away without even having to do anything. So this is actually the biggest brain tactic I've seen in pretty much any video game. So Koga's a solid pick for sure. I mean, I just don't see why you wouldn't play him. I mean, he's just such a good champion right now, especially in today's current meta. You know, he's great. All right, Lex. He is a lawman. He tries to make people not escape the law, but they usually end up escaping anyways. So that's a C tier for me, Chief. Okay, Leon. Oh, she is. Ah, man, she is just. I love Leon. She is the best champion in the game. I mean, what is wrong with Leon? There's nothing wrong with Leon. I mean, she's just the best designed character. I mean, she's so perfect. She's so perfect. She has a way of hitting people who you can't hit. I mean, if you can't hit people, she says, that's all right. That's okay. You know what? I understand. You're going through a hard time right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot them for you, okay? You don't need to worry. Just relax, sit back, and have a good time. That's what Leon is. She is such a nice champion. I don't see how anyone could ever hate Leon. Okay, let's see, Maeve. Isn't she just like a cat girl like Io, but just worse? Like, I feel like Io does such a better job of being a cat girl than Maeve. So I'm going to put her in 2B then, because she is a cat girl, but she gets countered by Io, who is a far superior cat girl to Maeve. I think that's justified. I think that's a good spot for me to put Maeve. Let's see, Makoa. He's a turtle, but he's got the right idea. You see, he's not stupid like Cassie. He's not a stupid idiot. He brings a cannon. But the problem with his cannon is, it is a sucky cannon. Like, you picture cannons. If you've ever seen, like, a movie of, like, the Civil War or the Revolutionary War or some war in, like, the 1800s, 1700s, stuff like that, cannonballs freaking blast people's heads off. They just, like, stomp people. You know, you shoot a cannon into a line of enemies and, like, you're taking out at least 5 or 6 of them. Sometimes they explode. So Makoa's cannon is, like, way worse than those actual cannons. So I think for that I'm going to have to take him down a few points. And also Half Shell got nerfed. Which really just killed the champion. I mean, there's no other reason you'd play Makoa besides Half Shell, you know? Like, it'd be nice if he had some, like, really good way to displace, like, people. Like, that'd be cool. Or maybe, like, some sort of other powerful ability he could use that isn't a shield. But because his shield is the only powerful ability Makoa has, and his cannon is kind of silly, and it's not really realistic, I'm going to go ahead and put him in C, because let's face it, Paladins is all about realism. I mean, the more realistic an item is in Paladins, the better. I mean, you wouldn't want anything unrealistic in your video game. Why would anybody want that? I mean, that's just kind of silly. All right, Moldamba, Snake Man, obvious D. I mean, like, you're telling me this guy's even stupider than freaking Cassie, right? Because you've got like cannons and you've got pistols. And those are like the low tier stuff. And then you've got bombs and rocket launchers and magic and sniper rifles at the top. And then there's this dude over here who thinks he can throw his snake at people and that's gonna kill them. Like, yeah, maybe the snake will get a bite on them or something and infect them with some sort of mild venom. I mean, the snake doesn't even look that poisonous, but like, that's not going to be enough to kill freaking Atlas. And what about, like, Drogos? Like, you're going to bring a snake to fight Drogos? No, that's stupid. And his healing isn't even that good either. Like, why would you ever want to get healed by a Moldamba when you could get healed by, like, I don't know, freaking Ying or something? Like, Damba's heals are just kind of impotent. I mean, he throws a gore on the ground. How is that meant to heal anybody? That's not very good first aid. Damba needs to go back to medical school, man. He is not very good. Alright, Moji. Now Moji, if you've ever heard her voice lines, she says something along the lines of like, I could make all the enemies disappear with a flick of my fingers or something like that, or a wave of my hand or whatever. So according to the lore, she's a very, very powerful champion, and I think that's definitely reflected very well in game, because, you know, she's very big. She has a very big and posing hitbox, which, you know, just obviously scares enemies off, because the bigger your hitbox is, the more intimidating you are, and the less likely people are to shoot at you, because they're like, I don't want to provoke that thing. And also her damage is really strong, and, you know, her mobility is good too. It'd be nice if she had vertical mobility, which is why I'm only going to put her in A tier, but I mean, overall, she's a very strong champion. You know what? I feel like she could fly if she wanted to. You know what? Maybe she doesn't want to fly. Maybe she can, but she just doesn't want to. And because we think she can fly, we got to put her in the same tier as Drogos and Grok, man. She's so good. Okay, Pip. Pip is... you know, see, he's got kind of a good idea. He decides, you know what, screw the bullets and stuff. I'm gonna launch chemical grenades at the enemies. Now that's a much better way of poisoning your enemies, rather than whatever the heck this freaking Damba dude is doing. So, like, this guy's an idiot. This guy has the right idea for chemical warfare, so he's really good. And also, like, his healing is alright too. I mean, you know, administering antibiotics in the form of potions and stuff is a much better way of healing people than literally yeeting a gourd on the ground filled with who knows what. I mean, it's bubbling and like that. I don't know. I would not trust whatever is in this guy's gourd, man. So yeah, Pip, definitely a way better pick than Maldamba. I don't know, you know, I don't know who's gonna argue with that. I mean, that's just common sense to me, honestly. Rom, he is a demon. He is terrifying. He's literally a demon. Like, what more do you want from him? Like, or what more do you expect? Like, he's crazy. S tier for sure. I mean, there's no way you can counter a demon. He's a demon with a minigun that has 500 bullets. He has crazy health. I mean, I can't think of a single champion that could, like, just take him out. Like, what champion could possibly even duel Rom? Like, is there any sort of, I don't know, maybe a champion who could, like, do loads of damage to him while keeping him at a distance and kind of just firing at him until he dies? I can't think of a single champion that could do that. So yeah, Rom, definitely top tier for sure. 100% definitely belongs in S tier. Ruckus, I mean, he's got this clunky old mech that's, like, made out of wood. And he himself is like a goblin. Like, his freaking head is the size of like a bullet. Like, he's so tiny. I feel like if you actually just shot the cockpit of Ruckus, like, it'd be way easier to take this tank down than if you actually just shoot, like, the arms and stuff. So people just need to stop being idiots and, like, shooting the mech and just shoot the little green boy inside instead. That's a way smarter plan. So, like, I think once people figure that out, he's going to be D tier for sure. But until then, because people will still just shoot his mech like an idiot, we're going to put him in, I think, 1B. Sure. I mean, I definitely say he's better than, like, Makoa and stuff, because he does have miniguns, which is kind of in the same vein as Rom. He's just not a literal demon, which is why I think Rom has to go above him. Okay, now Saris. I got a lot of people asking, like, why did you put her in C tier? Like, she's way better than C tier. Like, she should not be anywhere close to C tier. So I think I agree with that sentiment, and I do sincerely apologize for putting Saris in C tier. I think she actually belongs in D tier, because she could just be so much better. She has no vertical mobility, which is a problem already. Like, what good champion can't fly? I mean, we got, like, Grok, and we got, like, Drogos. Bomb can propel himself in the air. Alice can just rewind himself into the air. Like, all these guys have some form of, like, going up. Except Moji, but she could if she wanted to, so that's why she's an S. And Leon, she just has Khan, the freaking simp, lift her on his head, so that's how she does that. But Saris doesn't have any of that, so that's one of the reasons I'm putting her in D tier. And also, her ult is just so, like, not valuable whatsoever. Like, what does her ult even do? It does no damage. Like, what kind of good ult does no damage and also doesn't heal teammates? like, I just don't see why you would ever use a Sarasol. Like, and she even has the audacity to have cards in her loadout that make her charge her ultimate faster, so she can do what with it? It doesn't make any sense. So Saris is an obvious D tier choice for me. I mean, I just don't see why you would ever want to play this champion, and I think anyone who does play this champion to like over level 100 or level 200 is just wasting their time. I mean, first of all, I can't think of anyone who would ever do such a thing, but if they were to do such a thing, that would just be silly, and like, oh, I'm sure she's not a popular champion. I'm sure she's not a popular champion anyways. I don't think anyone's going to be mad that I put her in D tier. So let's just move on. Let's move on to Shalin. He's one of the prettiest champions in the realm. I mean, honestly, just look at his face. He is a really good looking guy, and I think for that alone, he's got to go at least B. And I guess the one problem, though, is he does have a bow, which is kind of sad. I mean, come on, this isn't the 1400s, bro. We have guns now, so I'm going to put him in 2B. He's a very, very sexy champion. I don't think there's anyone else who actually looks better than him. I mean, he's just got that perfect suave face. But, yeah, he has a bow, which means he gets countered by anyone with a gun. So, yeah, that's why I put him in 2B. Now, Skye. Skye is just so incredibly strong. I mean, she has the power to go invisible, which is, like, crazy. But the problem is, she's also very pretty. Same deal with Shalin. So I don't see, I guess, the tactics behind being really pretty, but then making yourself go invisible. Because if you're really pretty, then the enemies are going to look at you and be like, oh, that's a pretty person. I don't want to shoot that. But instead, she just goes invisible and sneaks up on people and is like, hello, I have a crossbow. And then they just shoot her out of self-defense. So I think it'd be a much better strategy if she didn't actually go invisible and she just walked up in front of people instead, because that'd be a good way to not get shot. So, yeah, that is a problem. I think I'm just going to put her in with Shalin as well, because she's definitely better than Androxus. I mean, Androxus doesn't have the pretty factor going for him, and he can't go invisible, so like he's kind of out of options there. So I think that Skye is definitely better than Androxus, but I don't think she can go any higher because of that. Let's see, Strix. Let's see. Well, Strix is also a sniper, so he obviously goes up here with Kinessa. I mean, I don't think he'll ever be not good, or like, I don't know. He just, I mean, he's just way better than like lots of the other champions in the game, you know, definitely nowadays. So he definitely goes in S tier alongside, you know, all these other wonderful champions. I think he has a bit of a tough time against Drogos, but he still belongs up here with him. That definitely makes sense. Talus. Is there some sort of child labor laws? Because I don't even think Talus should be fighting in this war. That's a little bit questionable. And he also doesn't have the experience or the mental acuity of some of these more seasoned veterans in the game, which is a bit of a problem. So, like, that makes him highly ineffective. Like, he isn't really good at, like, killing things because of that. Like, normal guys, you know, they just point the gun and are like, pew, 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 I have burst. And Talus, well, he doesn't have that same burst because he's a child, and he doesn't know how to shoot a gun. So, because of that, I think we gotta put him in D tier. Although, really, there should be a separate tier that just says, why is this champion even in the game? Because, like, I don't think it's legal for children to be fighting in wars. Whichever country Talus is from, he probably is. It's probably not a very good country then, because like child soldiers. That's questionable. That's questionable, bro. What are you doing? Go play outside with balls or something. Like, go kick a ball around into a goal or something. Play soccer. Don't freaking fight people with guns, even when your gun isn't very effective and isn't very bursty to begin with. Like, come on, bro. All right, Terminus. Well, he's just Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but he's actually Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So I think we'll put him with female Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Just because of that reason alone. I mean, he's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. How cool is that? Tiberius. Okay, Tiberius is just stupid. He tries to be a cat girl, but he forgot the girl part. So that's like an automatic D tier, just for that alone. But even then, like, he's not that bursty. Like, he throws... Again, he's got the same problem where he doesn't have a gun. He just, like, yeets these little circles around for some reason, and he has a sword, but instead of, like, slashing people with a sword, you know, actually sword fighting, he throws the sword, which doesn't make sense. Like, why would you throw a melee weapon if you can't get the melee weapon back? Like, you have to walk all the way over there just to pick it up again, and in the meantime, you have your little circles, and that's, like, it. He's just got so many problems. Like, I don't see why anyone would put him, like, even in, like, B tier, let alone A tier, like... What the heck? Okay, Torvald. Now, Torvald is obviously famous for being one of the best point tanks in the game. He's really strong because he has both actual health, and then he also has a shield on top of that, and so he just walks around with a shield on him the entire time. Like, you know, Barrack's shield? Like, he has that, but it's just on himself, and so he walks around with this thing, and he can still shoot while he's doing that, so that's, like, really strong. It makes him one of the best point tanks in the game. As far as, like, helping his team out, though, like, he could be a little bit better, so I think I'm only going to put him in a... Well, actually, you know what? We can put him in S tier, because another thing that's really cool about Torvald is he has his handicopter, which is a form of vertical mobility. So Torvald can actually fly, which is really cool. And another way is he can use his ult and then point it straight down, and then that'll actually shoot him up. So I think that's a really cool thing with Torvald. And combined with the fact that he's a good point tank, I think that definitely makes him a really strong champion. So we're going to put him in S. Tyra, no mobility whatsoever, but she is... She does have a reveal and some grenades and some guns, I guess. She is smart. She did bring a gun. I gotta give her props for that. I think I'm gonna put Tyra in B with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, because it's just fitting. Now, Victor is Tyra, but he can run. So he does have mobility. He doesn't have vertical mobility, but because he can run, I think we gotta put him above Tyra. Because they're basically the same champion, right? Like, both of them have a gun. Both of them have grenades. So obviously they're the same champion, but Victor can run, so that makes him way better than Tyra. Now, Vivian is Tyra, but she doesn't have grenades, so that makes her worse. I guess we'll just put her in 2B, because 2B is kind of small, so we'll just put her there, even though she doesn't, like, get countered by anybody. Like, what counters Vivian? I don't know. Yeah, she just got to go there, because she is basically Victor, but without the run, which makes her Tyra, but without the grenades, which makes her Vivian. So I think this is accurate. And then Vora. She has a scythe, which is really stupid, because again, no range. But she is pretty though, so I guess we'll put her above, or I guess we'll put her in C, because she's better than, like, this idiot. Okay. Willow. She is literally 3 years old, and she's an insect. Why is this a champion in Paladins Champions of the Realm? I don't understand. But what is cool is that she does have explosives, and I like explosives. So I think we're going to put her in 2B, just because she does get countered by a fly swatter. Yeah, I feel like if anyone just shot her, like, once, like, she'd be dead. So we're going to put her in 2B. But she's definitely better than, like, this idiot with a crossbow, because, like, obviously Cassie doesn't have any explosives, right? So that's kind of stupid. Alright, well, we're down to the last 3 now. Yaggroth. Well, let's see. So if Atlas is the main character of Paladins Champions of the Realm, who's warning about Yaggroth and is leading the charge to beat Yaggroth, and Atlas has crazy plot armor, then that means that Yaggroth has to be the antithesis of that. She's the villain of Paladins, and she eventually has to be defeated and overcome, which means she has absolutely zero plot armor whatsoever. So because of that reason, I think we gotta put her in D tier, just because she's inevitably going to lose, which means she's bad, right? So yeah, Yaggroth D tier. I mean, she dies. She dies to everything, because that's what happens when you don't have any sort of plot armor. You idiot, get some plot armor. Get good. Come on, Yaggroth. Alright, Ying. She can teleport. That's pretty cool. She does have that mobility, so I think that's automatically, like, really good. I don't think she's better than Pip, though. Like, Pip is a really solid healer, and he's really good in pretty much every aspect, so I think I'm going to have to put Ying below Pip. But I mean, she is a pretty interesting champion. She has, like, mirrors and stuff, so that's cool. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then Xin. Oh my gosh, what do I even say about this mess of a champion? So not only does he have a sword, at least, you know, we gotta give him props. He's not stupid like Tiberius. He doesn't throw his sword. He does actually do some fighting stuff with that, so props to him. But the problem is, like, Xin doesn't counter anything. Like, he just has so many bad matchups. I can't think of a single good matchup where Xin can actually counter what an enemy is doing and he can actually win and turn a fight in his favor. So, because of that, I think he's just like the perfect candidate for 2B. We're like, yeah, he has a sword, and that's kind of cool, I guess, and he can light people on fire, which, you know, that's nice. But he has so many bad matchups, and he can't really counter anything. So I think that's why we got to put him in 2B. And yeah, with that, we're pretty much done. So I think this is a really good tier list. I don't see how anyone could ever have any problems with this tier list. I mean, it's so good. It's so perfect. I mean, obviously Atlas is the best champion in the game because he got the plot armor, you know? Then I got like all the flying champions. So we got Grok with like lightning and stuff. That's pretty strong. We have a literal demon next to this person who can just wave her. Oh, God, I didn't mean to wave her. But yeah, she can like wave her hands and make everything disappear. So that's pretty cool, I guess. Torvald, of course, best point tank with some good vertical mobility. And yeah, I think it's a pretty solid tier list. I don't think I made any mistakes whatsoever. So yeah, I think that's going to be the end of the video. What do you guys think about this tier list? Do you have any suggestions that can make it better? I mean, obviously you don't, because you agree with this tier list 100%. There's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, just leave your thoughts. Leave your thoughts on how good this tier list is in the comments section down below. And also, if you have enjoyed, then make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload from me. Also, make sure to join the Discord server, linked in the description, to pick up tips, leave suggestions, and become a part of our active community. Also, huge shout out to the members of the channel for helping to support what I do. If you want to help support the channel and unlock some cool new emojis and an exclusive role in the Discord server, then just click the join button right next to the subscribe button. Anyways, I will see you all next time. Peace out.